Welcome to video number 3 in this series, Suicide Prevention and Intervention from a Chaplain's Perspective. The moments ahead showcase a chaplain's approach to suicide intervention. As you listen, some of the material may be new to you, but most of it should sound very familiar. Most chaplains are trained in a variety of intervention methods. The model I am about to share with you is an amalgam of several techniques, which is why some of the content will seem consistent with what you have heard before and will hopefully serve as a good refresher in your own approach to intervention. The model many chaplains use, whether they are intentional about it or not, is what I call the life model. The word life will serve as a handy acrostic. Each letter prompts an action or perspective to have when encountering people in crisis. Let's unpack these 4 elements of intervention as found in the word life. The L in life reminds us to live on mission to promote life. Most chaplains are driven by the view that life matters, that every person has intrinsic value and immeasurable worth. With that mindset in place, we walk the motor pools, the barracks, the Styx lanes, the ranges, the tower lines with a keen awareness of our surroundings. We are sensitive to the subtle cries for help soldiers offer up. We are alert to warning signals people emit. Once identified, we prioritize by making this person our mission at the moment. Everyone has a busy schedule. It would be easy to see a person's problem and conclude, not my problem. Living on mission to promote life instantly sorts through the tasks of the day and places a person's issues at the top of the list, even when it is unscheduled or inconvenient. Every leader in the unit must confront their self-directed agenda of each day and determine if they are willing to set aside that agenda when they clearly see a person in need. This helps us avoid the phenomenon known as the diffusion of responsibility. Research shows that when authority is unclear, especially when there are a lot of leaders around, no one tends to accept responsibility. Additionally, research shows that 2 out of 3 people said that in hindsight, they recognized that something was wrong, but because of competing life challenges, they didn't engage with the person. The chaplain or leader on a mission to promote life is willing to postpone a busy schedule packed with tasks and make a suffering person our priority, our mission. You too can orient yourself to be on a daily mission. Try not to see someone's problems as the professional's business only. If you avail yourself to the needs of those around you, your involvement might just save a life with a simple investment of a listening ear. This brings us to the I in life. Invite them to tell their story. At this point in the intervention, we've hit the pause button on our schedules and are now focused on a person in crisis. This is where we do the hard work of listening and empathizing with them to attain shared understanding. Empathy, of course, is that capacity to place ourselves in their circumstances so we can see, hear, and feel what that person is going through. Their story contains heartache and loss of hope, grief, sadness, and despair. They will likely express feelings of being alone, devalued, rejected, and invisible. To hear it clearly, we will need to be fully present with the person. This is not a time to problem solve, but simply be fully present. If you can sit with them and relate at a fundamentally heart level, you just might single-handedly save their lives. It is when they are able to express their pain with another caring person that true healing can occur. Author David W. Augsburger wisely observed, being heard is so close to being loved for the average person, they are almost indistinguishable. Recognize that you will be mostly asking questions. You don't have to have perfect answers to their questions. Remember that silence is your friend. It's okay to just let it hang there, and it's okay to say, I'm not even sure what to say that will help, but I'm committed to helping because this is important. This can be painstaking work that takes time and patience, but it is worth it when you have the chance to see a miracle unfold before you. Many of us have observed that turnaround where the person stopped, did an about face, and sought help. Trust the process and invest yourself into this person. Doing so just may be the most rewarding experience of your life. If, during your conversation, you sense that the person is considering suicide, include as part of the invitation to ask something like, "Does it ever get so bad that you think about suicide?" Resist the temptation to opt for a flimsy, "Are you thinking of hurting yourself?" Most experts agree that when you observe those warning signs in a person, this is not the time to be timid. This skirts the issue and allows the actual topic to go unaddressed. Instead, the direct approach is preferred. Ask pointedly, "Are you thinking about killing yourself?" or "Are you thinking about suicide?" Once this topic has been flushed out into the open, research shows that the person in crisis actually feels relief. The silent burden no longer has to be carried alone. This may even jar the person to realize that suicide is actually something they are contemplating. It can be an eye-opener for a person at risk, as they weren't even aware how close they came to killing themselves. The direct approach is the best approach to help them reorient to where they are and to access the help they need. Depending on the severity of the person's condition, you may opt to stop what you're doing and accompany the soldier to suicide prevention resources immediately. If the person at risk is in immediate danger, this is the best tact. If the person is willing to talk through the issues with you, your caring presence and listening ear may be the best medicine and will pull them back from the brink. We now pivot to the letter F, which stands for foster safety and hope. To foster safety, chaplains typically ask about any suicide plans a soldier may have. If the soldier admits they have a plan, we seek their assistance in dismantling that plan. Sadly, there is an abundance of ways for someone to take their life. Many car accidents, for example, are actually the result of a pre-planned moment and place of a completed suicide. Fostering safety also should include asking the soldier about booze and firearms. The military is abundant in both, and it can be very unpopular to address these topics openly since they are part and parcel to the military culture. However, most studies have found that nearly 1/3 of suicide deaths have been linked to alcohol consumption. Depleted resilience, drowned with alcohol, actually exacerbates the symptoms of many mental health conditions and can dramatically increase the odds of poor judgment in a moment of weakness. If that person at risk acknowledges both, then include in your conversation a way to gently disarm them of alcohol and access to lethal means like firearms. To assist in this, we recommend a counterplan. The counterplan is an agreement with the soldier to temporarily remove alcohol or firearms. This can be a trigger lock on the weapon. It can be a safe, or maybe arrangements with a friend to take the weapon for a while. When implementing this plan, we show our part of the commitment by saying, "If I do X, you do Y." This helps them realize that they are not alone in this and have a friend who will help them through it. Once we have addressed safety concerns, chaplains identify sources of hope that may have been forgotten in the fog of depression. This is something any first-line leader can do. Simply ask about relationships. Most of life's meaning is interwoven with people. Ask, is there a parent or sibling or friend that would be devastated by your death? Also ask, is there anyone who is dependent on you? Do you have a son or a daughter, an aging parent, a nephew, a grandparent, or other relationship that would be dramatically impacted by your departure? Help them reflect on the potential aftermath their suicide would have on these people. In some cases, a person is the source of the crisis. It is insightful, though, to help them see others in their world whose hearts would be shattered. You can also broach other topics such as career, life goals, dreams, etc. Sometimes you can help them refocus on something they lost along the way. Depending on the person, a chaplain may explore spiritual quandaries in addition to all of this. If you have the courage, you can listen and journey with them for a bit on this theme as well. If you feel ill-equipped at this point, this is when you and I move to the last letter in our acrostic. E stands for escort them to additional help and resources. As stated before, sometimes it is best to seek additional help. Escorting a soldier or friend involves multiple options, but all of them lead to linking resource to need. The goal is to keep the person safe by remaining present with them until they are in the capable care of a mental health agency designed to intervene in these circumstances. This may actually include walking with them to an emergency room, driving them to a mental health provider, or entrusting them to the care of your immediate command. Since time is of the essence, you and I must maintain a posture of readiness to serve should the occasion arise. Success in the escorting step requires that you are familiar with and have access to these agencies so you can skillfully connect them with the soldier or person at risk. Here are a few resources at your disposal. Now, of note, you can either refer people to them or use them yourself should you need them. Some are simply relational networks, while others are official state and governmental agencies established to help hurting people. So, here's a list of resources. If you're feeling suicidal but you aren't in immediate danger, reach out to a close friend or a loved one, even though it may be hard to talk about those feelings. Make an appointment with your doctor, your primary healthcare provider, or a mental health professional. Inform your chain of command that you need to take a knee. They will then arrange a visit with a behavioral health asset in the state or the unit, or as the case may be. The Director of Psychological Health for the Michigan Army National Guard can be reached at 517-481-8319 as of this recording. Contact a local minister, spiritual leader, or someone in your faith community. Sometimes your home church pastoral staff can be an invaluable resource for working things out. Additionally, every battalion and every brigade should have an assigned chaplain. If for some reason they are not available, you can reach out to the next echelon, installation, or state chaplain's office. Most chaplains are trained in suicide intervention and often have experience doing so. At a minimum, every E5 and up should have the chaplain's contact information stored in your phone along with your brigade's behavioral health provider. Professionals are adept at resource gathering and sharing. And lastly, if you are in crisis, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK or text TALK to 741-741. If you are a leader of any kind in any organization, I suggest you save this in your phone for ease of access so you can provide it swiftly if and when the need arises. In conclusion, we need you. We need you in the game of life. You matter, and what you do matters. Many of you have sacrificed many years for your country and are deserving of a rewarding season of respite and peace and fun. What a travesty when a soldier survives a combat deployment and dies by his own hand at home. Please don't be that soldier. Take care of yourself. Use the content of this video series as a guide to holistic health and resilience. We need to be the cure to our nation's other pandemic, and that is emotional sickness that's out there. We need you to be healthy, strong, and resilient so we can meet and beat the enemy, whether the threat is external or internal. You have way too much value to go out this way. May you know that you are loved. May you experience the peace of God and know that you have incalculable worth. May God bless you in all your future endeavors. Thank you.